Okay, we're going to move up to the next layer now, and we're going to go up to our API level. And what we're going to do is inside our API, inside our controllers, we're going to create a new class called follow controller. And of course, we're going to derive from our base API controller. And what we're going to add is an HTTP post. And we're going to need as a root parameter the target username, the user that we're going to be following. So we'll add the username inside there. And then we'll say public async task. And once again, we're just going to return an iAction result. And we'll call it follow. And we'll pass in a string of the username that we get from the root parameter. And let's just bring in everything we need here to make the errors go away. And of course, what we're going to do is pretty much the same as we do in every endpoint. We're going to return handle result, and then we're going to say await mediator, and we're going to say send, and we're going to create a new follow toggle instance of that class. And then we can say command, and then we can just set the target username equal to the username that we're getting from our root parameter. And finish it with a semicolon. So nice and easy so far, and what we'll do is we'll just test that we can add a new following into our database. Now we're not going to be able to display this in terms of how we see it getting returned from our API just now, but we can test the ability to follow another user. So what I'm going to do inside module 20, I'm going to log in as Bob so that I get a new token, first of all. And if I go and get Bob's profile, there won't be any surprises here that we're not doing anything to return the followings. But what we can do is let's attempt to follow another user. So we've got a request to follow Tom. And Tom is a user that exists, of course, in my database. And if I click on send, then we get a 404 not found. This is very, very typical behavior when we create a new API controller. So the first thing we want to do is simply stop and then restart our API service. I know this is lame, but for some reason the .NET Watch Run functionality doesn't pick up when we add a new controller, so it doesn't seem to add it to our controller endpoints, and it requires a proper restart in this occasion. So if we click send again, then what we should find is that we actually make the request to follow this particular user, and we get the 200 OK response back, and that's what we're looking for. Now, if we go back to VS Code, and let's just check our table in SQLite. This is the only way we can test just now to make sure that we did actually follow that particular user. So inside Solution Explorer, let's just go and check our SQLite Explorer and our Activities database. And if we go and take out the user followings and click Show Table, then we should see a single entry in there for where we've followed that particular user. We've got our Observer ID, which should be the user ID of Bob, and we've got our target ID, which should be Tom. And if I go and make that request another time, and I click send again, then we get the same response, 200 OK, but what this should have done is remove that entry in our database. So if I just quit out of this one and re-execute the show table command, now we can see that we've got an empty table. And this is what we're looking for at this stage. So of course, we need to know which users are following which users and return that inside the profile as well. So what we'll do next is take a look at the profiles that we're returning from our controller. So what we'll take a look at next is updating our user profiles to incorporate the following behavior.